just I don't know.
Yeah, we are
I
live.
see people here. Cool, 9 viewers. Hey, hi everybody. So I think we can start. And I do see chat here, so at least that's fine. So hey, hi, I'm Ondřej. Up above me is another Ondřej.
I'm Ondřej as well.
Hey,
Hi.
and to my left, no, okay, it's actually mirrored. So to my left here.
It's Andrea. Hey.
Hi, and we're all from Charles Games, and there, diagonally, is our game Svoboda 1945 Liberation, which is actually a part of LudoNarraCon, and this is our QA slash gameplay commentary session. In the end, we decided we're gonna be playing. We're going to be playing the full game, even though we have a demo out, and we urge all of you to check it out and give us any feedback you can. We'd be super grateful for that. You can use the chat, you can use Discord, or any channels available. And since this is also a QA session, please do ask us stuff. Even the silliest stuff, even the silliest stuff, like what kind of tea does Ondřej have? I don't know. I think it's Earl Grey, but we'll see about that if somebody asks. So, because here, we are here for you, for all of our 11 now viewers, which we are really thankful for. And I think we can, I don't know, dive right into our game, I guess, right? And show people what it's all about.
So our game is a bit different than the rest of maybe what you can see, so we hope that it will generate many questions.
Yeah,
so
it should. So, like, you want to do the honors of introducing the game, or Andrea wants to, or Morpheus back there, like the cat's actually called Morpheus.
I can maybe say the basic stuff, but we'll also see. So this is the second game in our series. The first one was called Attentat 1942, which was about the life under the German rule in Prague and in Czechoslovakia. And this game deals with a bunch of topics that happened at the end of the war and after the war. And you will see that the format that we chose to use to show this period is a little bit different than maybe majority of games. We have no 3D graphics. We use interactive comics and full motion video or live action video. So I'll just go ahead and play a new game here.
Yeah, also, like, we actually found that the label doesn't stick too much, but this is an FMV game, or like important portion of the game is FMV, so it's like, think about it, I guess, like a Bandersnatch, I'd say, or I looked the schedule, and there actually are like great guys who made Erica, which is also another FMV detective game for PS and Apple Arcade, and so feel free to check their talk. Like, big shout out to them, and because they've been an inspiration. But we are trying something different here when it comes to our narrative, because that's why we're here, right? So yeah, we're just arriving to our village in Czech-German borderlands in 2001, which is the first important narrative stuff that is in the game. So yeah, please let's play.
So this is the scene where we try to a little bit introduce the player and throw them straight into the game and into what's happening. So we just see a little bit of a flashbacks.
Vykašlete se na ten průzkum, šetříte si práci. Ta škola dělá ve vesnici zlou krev. Lidi nezajímá to, co bylo před 50 rokama. Lidi zajímá to, co bude zítra.
Wow, shivers, man.
So it already shows that the connection to history is very important to the people in the village, or maybe some people think it's.
I guess to the viewers out there who are not necessarily acquainted with, like, let's just pause for a second here, because for the viewers there who are not necessarily acquainted with the history of Central Europe, and I totally wouldn't blame you, obviously, is that we are here on a very contested historical field, or at least like social field, right? Our game deals with the looming of communist coup d'état that will happen it happened in 48. There were mass expulsions of Germans after the World War II, and it's all very full of various tensions, and those tensions are actually still present in at least Czech and Slovak and what I heard German discourse. So we're actually making a game, apart from Attentat 1942, about a history which stirs much more emotion. And it was actually a much higher narrative, and also actually a narrative design, a game design challenge. and we'll get to that probably later. But just to give you guys like a couple, like complete picture of what we're dealing with here is, yes, the game takes place in a small village in the Borderlands, which might seem like a super local problem, but those are events that actually shaped the way the politics of Central Europe still look today, and also the overarching topic of where's the line between revenge and justice, or reconciliation with your own family history, we believe are universal, right? So yeah, please continue with our interactive scene. And as you can see, like we love to work with memorabilia, and as historians participated super heavily on the game, I think it shows, to be honest. Like we are on a dev stream. We are on a dev stream. We can boast a little.
I think it's also useful to mention at the start that you as the player, are sent to the village to investigate a local school that is set to be torn down, and you are there to kind of investigate what's happening to it, and if it has some kind of cultural and historical meaning to the place.
Yeah, so this is actually pretty, like, please Ondřej, keep playing. I think you can keep playing. I just like to say that this was actually a deliberate decision. Okay, I'll probably wait until those, like, what are those? Flashbacks. And because this was now, for those who didn't see the date before the game, actually this is happening on the very end of the storyline. Like we basically start just before the end of the storyline, and you're retracing the steps you made in the game. So this is like before the decision if you're about to demolish or keep the building in question. So this is like a teaser already for the player to like show them, hey, this is all the stuff that you're gonna encounter. And we're gonna encounter.
Pamatuju si, že teta si směla zabalit jen to nejnutnější. Kufry nesměly vážit víc než 50 kilo a balila je pod dohledem českých vojáků.
Alright, I will just go ahead and click the last one.
Yeah.
Každý z místních měl možnost rozhodnout se, jestli chce jít se vsi nebo proti ní. A kdo šel proti vsi, ten musel počítat s následkami.
Like if this was a Disco Elysium, shout out to them, they're also on LudoNarraCon, I would have so much shivers. Oh, you got a cat there. Oh, show up.
Yeah, come to watch.
I'm sorry, I have to show the cat.
He likes to be the center
because
of
he's like super fluffy. Oh, what's his name?
His name is Morpheus.
And what was his role in development of Charles games?
I think similar to the company dog Charlie, he keeps us sane throughout all this.
So like he will definitely have his own big section in credits.
A big thanks.
Okay, anyway, so we're here, and this is actually a very important bit.
That will be explained a little bit later, though, in the scene, right? We don't have to spoil it just yet.
Yeah, we don't. But like the thing is that the decision to actually start the game with you doing a super mundane job of you're being an employee of a preservation office and just like doing some survey, which is not really, that's not really cool, right? Or like it's totally needed, but it's not like dramatic or anything. It's not like, wow, what a plot twist, you're doing a survey for work. It's actually pretty deliberate because we wanted for you to have this feeling that you're just there to do some like mundane stuff, and suddenly all those stories will start creeping in, and suddenly you are like in the midst of a traumatic experiences and memories in which actually your own family is entangled, as we will see later. So, and this is actually one little disclaimer. I'm sorry if I'm talking too much, but I had too much coffee. Is that even though this what we're showing at this point, you can play for your own in the demo, and I really do urge you to do that, because even though the game might seem like we're showing you basically everything there is on the stream, that's not true, because I think, at least for me, the emotions you feel from those interviews when you're playing them by yourself and deciding by yourself is totally different than by just watching. So yeah, that was a little disclaimer. And yeah, please guys, please continue. I'm talking too much, and I'm gonna survey the chat for questions. So please ask questions.
So this is kind of the core mechanic of the game, that you basically have these interactive dialogues, and you choose what to ask the people, and they will react based on your choices.
No,
So I'll just click this.
I already have friend requests.
Ale
This is paying
jistě.
off.
Kde začneme? Na půdě? Pojďte.
Yeah, I'm sure there comes a point.
There's a bunch of things I can click.
To jsou kluci z jednotky. Nikdo z nich už nežije. Tam se nedostanete. To si dávno zamknul, klepal.
You're here surveying the attic that is supposed to contain some memorabilia of the past times, and you need to survey it because you're here to check out the building. And suddenly, or okay, not yet, but like almost suddenly.
Ti vyseli dole ve třídách.
So this is a trivia question for all history nerds, especially from outside of Czech Republic. Who are these presidents?
Okay, I don't think that's the best marketing you could have come up with, but sure, if you're a history nerd caring about Czech
Trofy asi
presidents,
původní,
please
ten
play a
nikdo
game.
nemění.
But that's not the only
Když se na
reason by
něm
far.
pověsil nějaký Němec, co nechtěl do odsunu. Toho jsem si nikdy nevšiml.
Do you have any questions?
Kdo ví, jak dlouho to tu je?
No. So we're working a lot with real memorabilia and real
S
items,
generálem Svobodou.
and the main reason for that is
Šli jsme
that
proti Němcům skoro bez munice.
the game was co-written by historians, and actually we have a whole how's it called, game development blog on Gamasutra that is detailing this cooperation. And the thing is that actually our historians really took care for everything to be historically accurate, right? So like every box, every little uniform, every little piece of furniture or something you see in the game was actually, or like could be present in 1945 to 1948. So they really took this care, so that's why also to preserve this historical accuracy, that's why we're using so much of real items and real stuff.
I mean, not only the graphical assets, but of course all the writing is checked by historians, and all the stories of the people are actually taken or are inspired by real testimonies of survivors of those times.
Well, not only inspired, but actually melded together from the real histories, which we melded together because of the narrative and gameplay purposes, but it's underpinned by rigorous historical research. And we also have like a really we will have that's wrong. If you want to hear more about, no, I don't want to spoil that. That was important. That was important scene, right? That was the picture of your grandpa that you suddenly found in a locked up box. It's like a loot box, but with family traumas inside.
Tenhle? To nevím. Ale zeptejte se studničky, bydlí vedle. A chtěl s váma stejně mluvit o té demolici.
So what would...
To nevíte, to se tady bude bourat všechno. To dostane klepal. Ten si to tady chce zbourat a postavit a rozšířit tady svoji firmu. A starostka mu to samozřejmě prodá. Učitel studnička, ten by z toho rád udělal pamětní místnost. Ale snaží se o to už strašně dlouho a nic.
Please play, guys. I need to take a screenshot of it. Yes, great. So do we want to sell this? So what do we want to? What do you think about it? What would the mayor School. I don't know about you, but I always like I as a younger guy, I think I was reading this Czech fantasy magazine, and they had like this choose your own adventure voting at the end of each issue, and like there would be a story that would be choose your own adventure style progressing according to how many people would send a text message with some choice. So I can't help but I don't know feel nostalgic sometimes
I
when I'm
mean,
playing FMVs.
we can maybe mention that the interactive cinema started in Czech Republic with the Kino Automat film in
That's
1967.
actually really true.
So we are actually pioneers since the 60s.
Not we,
This
but
was back when people actually went to the cinema and they had like two buttons on the next to them on the seat, and they could click one or the other, and the movie would cut between two different tapes. And so that was back in the 60s, and now we are continuing in that great tradition, great Czech
yeah,
tradition.
Choose Your Adventure is not dead. And also
So-
FMV is not dead. Like I mean, we have Erika over there at like the main panel. There's also Bandersnatch. There's Her Story and Telling Lies. So yeah, I think we
And
are.
Sam Barlow is developing new games, I heard, as well, as continuation of Telling Lies and Her Story. So
Yeah,
there's
shout out
more.
to them.
All right. So what do I click here? What does Morpheus say?
What do you feel like? I mean,
do you
I'm
say?
curious. Why would she want to sell the school? Okay, obviously I'm acting. I know what's behind it. But...
No, protože kdyby nepovolila starostka, tak by lidi pomluvili, že se mstí. Klepal otec v 48. Rodině od starostky sebral statek. No. Takže bourat se bude. A ani vy s tím nic nezmůžete.
And
Promiňte,
please, you
mám ještě
over at
práci.
chat, thank you so much
Já
for
vás
being with us.
doprovodím, pojďte.
But please drop us your impressions, your comments, even critical ones. We are more than happy to talk about our game because we've spent 3 years developing it, and yeah, we just want to talk about it to someone else than just us.
Maybe we should mention that the game is going to be out sometime in the summer.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, true. In August.
So the full game is not far off.
Hledáte někoho?
Já jsem se tady narodila za války. Teď to tu vypadá úplně jinak. Tam za těmi okny jsme bydleli. Můj táta tady dělal ve škole ředitele.
No a co? Chcete se sem vrátit?
Ne, já bydlím už mnoho let v Německu. Chtěla jsem to tady jen ukázat mojí vnučce.
Yeah, so actually, I think I don't know about you, but tell me. But I feel like our narrative is like more subtle than in a lot of other like narrative-heavy games. And, like actually, what she's talking about now is like super traumatic stuff that is like spanning generations and nations. So I think I don't know. I actually came to this project a little bit later, and this might sound like a cheap PR, so like trust me or not, or take it with a grain of salt or not. But I actually do find it really refreshing that we have this like kind of a subtle, more contemplative tempo to the game, so we don't like throw plot twists and dramatic scenes over on you. So it's like more of a you need to make some reflection of your own when you're playing the game.
It's very different from. Go ahead, Andrea.
No, I just wanted to mention that it feels evocative of how people actually talk about these experiences.
Yeah.
Like they were a long time ago and they sort of were forced to process this horrible stuff. So, and it's kind of actually very inspiring to hear them talk about it sometimes.
Yeah, I think we also have a good record of people with our previous game actually going to their grandparents and talking about the actual events their grandparents lived through, thanks to our games, which is like great. And also considering the fact of how prevalent stories like those in the game are in a Czech context. I mean, we do hope for this game to achieve the same. And by the way, I know if it's now a good time to talk about your family legacy, Ondřej.
Maybe
I don't know.
we can.
In a while, I guess we could play a little bit more and maybe show interactive comics and some playable memories we have, because those are apart from just people talking and you talking to people. We also have two big components of our game, that were present in Attenta 1942, but in Svoboda 1945 Liberation, or in Liberation, they are much more refined, or not much more refined, but no, that's not a good actually way to put this. They are, I think we advanced in some non-attentative ways.
I mean, if I had to like compare those two games, I would say that we moved more into like not gamified version, but like we're trying to like let the player just go through the game and just ask different people. There is no, we kind of scrapped the whole repeating of dialogues mechanic, and all the mini games are just like an experience that you just go through, and all the focus is always just to try to put you in those on the spot that the person you're interviewing is actually lived through, and to kind of give you the feeling or the experience that they had. And there is usually very little like challenge in terms of reflexes or memory and stuff like that's usually in games. So we moved into this direction even more with Svoboda. Hopefully,
But like you still have to be cautious of whom you ask about which stuff, right? We can go to, I think we can get ourselves thrown out if we go to Klepal, which is like this big ass businessman, owner of a farmstead, and we need his keys from the attic because he has some stuff hidden there, and we don't know what that is. So you need to be very political.
Co vy jste zač?
So like one wrong answer can.
Yeah, what should we choose though?
I mean, Preservation Society seems like a fair enough argument. Like, I'm official,
Yeah.
I need to see that. Please. But it's not even please, it's like,
Nikam nepolezete. Mám tam věci. Bez
Oh
dozoru vás tam
no.
nepustím.
oh,
A
you
já
lied.
sám nemám čas. Nestrkejte nos do toho, co je jasný. Ta škola musí pryč. A jestli chcete někomu pomáhat, tak zachraňte kostel, farář vás rád uvidí.
It's a
Yeah, I think
very
this is
long
actually-
and emotional answer.
Wow, oof. Yeah, so we were thrown out, but like we don't have any dead ends, obviously. So Jak, you won't get stuck because just like you, I don't know, you haven't read the tone properly. But we wanted really to evoke that feeling that not everybody wants to talk about the past, and actually in the village is very contested among many people. So and also this is very important for like the whole approach we have to this historical narrative, because usually big narratives happen in terms of big history. Like you read in history books or textbooks or in movies about nations, about countries, about the whole wars, about, you know, there's like big shifts on the map of the world or whatever. But in our game, those shifts are present, but they are affecting individual lives and individual families. So we are more about the reverberations of the whole history than about, like, you know, presenting you another like over the top great narrative. It's more about the ordinary, mundane, and we do hope more relatable. And also like just like it's a perspective that's not pronounced enough.
And also these things are not like, they may sound mundane comparing to other things, but these are lives and like experiences of people that
Yeah.
they have to like live and deal with.
yeah, exactly. Like we're trying to show you that the history is very personal and that these things happen to real people, and that it's not just like First World War, Second World War, I don't know, normalization, and then the 90s, right? These are people who lived through all of that in one life, and they're, or well, maybe not First World War, but like Second World War and after, and they will tell you how it affected them, how one thing led to the next, and how it still affects them to this day.
Zoom out our map. I mean, we have a pretty nice map.
So what should we do here? Should we pop out?
But zoom out our map.
Should we visit something? Or should we go back to the menu and play some minigame, or show a comic?
I would show a comic.
Yeah.
I would show comics about maybe the most, or not the most, but one of the most emotional moments of the game, which is Anna's story about being expelled. And I think we can access it very, very quickly from the
character that we saw in the introduction.
She's a returning German. She was expelled after the war, as we will learn in a second. and she's returning here for the first time since her childhood to show the place of her upbringing around to her niece, I believe. Is it niece? Sorry, I don't know about the right word. It's not niece, right? It's granddaughter.
Promiňte, dobrý den. Hledáte někoho?
Okay, let's play the official card again.
No, moje vnučka si někam odběhla, ale proč ne? Pojďte dál.
Tak jo.
So this is where the
like her.
demo actually ends, right?
Co byste si
So
přál?
we're going a little bit to like a territory that's not on in the demo, but we're not going to show very much.
Yeah, we're not gonna spoil anything. I mean, there are some twists there. So yeah.
There's also a lot of branches that you can go through, so like even replaying the game may feel different.
Yeah, so if you're a completionist, which actually it's a funny thing, because Attentat 1942 wasn't designed as a hardcore game, but we have completionists. We have guide for Attentat 1942. So it's interesting and it's totally fine, obviously, but it's really interesting. We have like people who are trying to play FMV adventure game about the history hardcore style. And it's totally fine. Like it's amusing that people will always find like new ways to play your game once you would not have conceived earlier.
So what do I choose here?
Yeah, like you are born in school. We want to go, or we will show the photos. No.
Ano, v roce 1939 můj otec byl ředitelem školy a měli jsme tady i byt. Tady jsem prožila tu hezčí část svého dětství. Po válce nás jako Němce vyhnali. Poslyšte, ale ta škola je v hrozném stavu. Měla by se opravit. Co říkáte?
Maybe we should talk about the encyclopedia. We just got this notification to the left, which is indicating that we had unlocked a new entry in our encyclopedia. And you can through menu go here and open the encyclopedia and see what you've unlocked so far. And if you click it, there's like a whole section written by our historians with some real photos. This one is about confiscation of land. And through the whole game, there is about 80 entries, maybe 100. I'm not sure exactly. But it's like a whole little encyclopedia on its own, documenting this place in time.
So it's all like for all of you folks who don't necessarily know all the details about the stuff that's been happening here. So it's like a really, I don't know, how's it called? I always forgot the word. Not comfortable, but you know that word.
Accessible?
Convenient.
So convenient, exactly. Convenient way for you to learn a little like facts about the stuff that happened here, because we obviously not even Czech kids don't learn about most of this stuff in textbooks, so we had to put it there one way or another. But we have questions, which is great, and please add others. I think before we move on to the interactive part of the game, or interactive comics, and playable memories. Illuzon is asking in our Discord, and there's a link below. How hard is it to cast people as actors for the game, and are there going to be different endings for Svoboda? And I think the first one should go to Ondřej, because he was there when the actors were being cast.
Well, we actually...
What? That is funny. Okay, I'm sorry, my Discord just dropped, but we'll be right back with you. Yeah, sorry, Discord dropped. We're back. It's all fine.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Should
I'm going
I repeat
to
it?
the big screen, and we're okay. Please, you can answer the question.
Okay, so for an Attentat 1942, the actors were actually not professional actors. They were just like part-time enthusiasts, and we were trying just to find people who were like appropriate age-wise and kind of who had the charisma. And it was very very hard to get them to be natural in front of a camera. So for Svoboda, we actually cast real actors from small roles in theaters and stuff. And the process, from what I understand, I wasn't actually present during the filming, but from what I understand, the actors just got like general notes on what they should say, but they didn't get like word by word written lines, and they had to improvise in front of the camera and try to be as natural as possible. So we're hoping that it worked and that they are actually trying to convey like some kind of real interview, as you would just speak to your family or your neighbors and stuff like that. Hope that answers maybe the question. But,
yeah, and also we have the question about I think completely like if Illusion is not satisfied, please give us another question. But also, is there so are there going to be different endings?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, yeah. Not like I don't think but like if you're asking about a particular number, we're not near Automata, and we're not the kind of game that would be like, oh, we have 40 different endings. Like, no, that's not it, and that's not even the point. We have different endings and different outcomes. It would be hard to talk about it without spoiling anything, so we won't. But yeah, you can definitely go through the story in a way that will eventually affect the life in the village, and not just by deciding if to demolish or keep the school. Like in the end, the school is just it's not a prop, but it's only one of the many things that is happening there, and maybe not even the most emotional one. So
maybe we can say that it's not really about like influencing the narrative, but there is a lot of freedom and questions in how deep you go in the interviews, and how much you get from those people, and how much you discover. You can go through the game very quickly and get to the end, and it's finished. But maybe you missed a lot of stuff that's going on in the village, and that was part of the history, and you just missed it. So a little bit of the choice is there, how deep you want to go with each of the characters in the game, and how much you learn.
Yeah. Thank you, and I think we can before like some other questions will drop in, which I'm sure they will do. We can go right to the comics.
So I'll just go. You said you were expelled from Czechia.
I think this is the surest way to go about that.
Pamatuju si, že teta si směla zabalit jen to nejnutější. Kufry nesměly vážit víc než 50 kilo a balila je pod dohledem českých vojáků. Já si nejvíc vzpomínám na to, že jsem se pořád ptala na rodiče. Teta říkala, že už se s nimi brzy setkáme. Muselo to pro ně být hrozné.
Oh, so it's 2-in-1. We have like this is maybe one of the first interactive scenes or playable memories, as we call them, you'll encounter in the game, right?
Except
who
for
will do the honors of introducing?
Except for the attic, if you count that.
Yeah, of course. Like, who'll do the honors of introducing it?
Andrea?
Yes,
Andrea or Ondřej?
Andrea.
Very hard to.
I think it's Andrea. Yeah, it's hard to pronounce Slavic names.
Right.
In English sometimes.
Well, so we have just entered the interactive scene where you are in the role of Anna's aunt, and you are tasked with, I believe it's her, and you are tasked with packing the as little or as much as you can in the weight limit that you were given. And this is this notice that you were given, and it says like what can you take and what you cannot take. There are a lot of limits in that regard, and this scene is supposed to show you how little or how much you had to leave behind, actually.
Yeah.
So maybe we can just show one or two, and then we can just skip the scenes. So we don't spoil everything.
There's always and I don't know. It's not probably. It's something we tend to do at Charles Games, that we like give you a lot of options to explore for yourself in your own pace, at your own pace. So yeah, we're not gonna be dwelling here for too much, but you can when you play it.
Yeah.
So you can like see the different difficult choices that people faced at the time. For example, you cannot take any jewelry, but do you take an engagement ring from your dead husband? It's hard questions.
Like the aim was to put you at least partly in the shoes of somebody who would be asked to pack like mere 50 kilos before leaving basically everything behind, and not by his own volition or her own volition.
I'll just skip the rest, and we go straight to the.
This is the comics. Like we're very proud of it. Yeah, and that's the dog you have been seeing in the lower left corner. Sorry. Her name's Valdi.
Okay. Maybe we just pop to the menu now, and we can.
Yeah, like we also have another question.
Yes. Shoot.
That also came to our Discord, and please drop by if you have any. So it sounds like there might be a fair amount of replayability in the game. Yes. And the question actually is, do you have a design finished before the filming of the scenes, or did you go back and shoot some additional footage because of some later change? The answer is B. Or the answer is like A and B.
It's excellent question, really, because
yeah,
it shows the advantages and disadvantages of using FMV or live action video, right?
I'll put you on a big screen. Let's go.
You can very easily make something in like live action, just shoot some actors, but it's very hard to do like rewrites because the actors age, they change in appearance, and it's very hard to go back and so it wouldn't be like noticeable.
Yeah, so we actually had one of them that I'm not going to name it obviously, name her or him obviously, but one of them didn't want to go back to reshooting some stuff because of what was it? I think it was beard or something.
They had some teeth operation, so
yeah, something like that, and like that's totally understandable. But those things can happen if you're shooting with real people.
So yeah, it's very constraining for us. But we had a lot of already shot scenes, and we used them, and we kind of reshuffled some of the scenes a little bit that we had to make it flow more naturally.
But particularly for the ending, we had to reshoot some scenes because at the beginning we weren't sure about the ending, and we actually just finished writing it later, and we had to work around that.
Yeah, so that's except for the ending, we didn't have to reshoot anything, but the ending, yes.
And voiceovers, some voiceovers. We actually like I think we can like disclose that actually the beginning of the attic, or like the front room before you enter and to the actual attic, was added later, and we had to reshoot voiceover of Jan Vlk there with the actor, and we actually have some behind the scenes footage which we're gonna release on social media, I think, in a few. So yeah, voiceovers were also reshot.
Okay. Any other questions there?
Yeah, I think we're good for now, so we can go to some other playable memory. I think you wanted to, and I'm sure you're proud about it, right? Like you wanna play cards.
Let's play some cards.
Yeah,
So,
we're actually gonna play
maybe-
cards, like actual cards, after this stream. I think as kind of a debrief between us. But we also have card game in the game. It's like a game inside a game meta thing. Yeah, sorry,
maybe-
I didn't switch to it. So,
Okay, so
please,
can you introduce the setting, Andrea? How did we get here? Who are we?
I think this scene comes after you talk with Mr. Volk and how he came to the village, and he was supposed to inherit, or like not inherit. That's not the right word, but he was given a place to live, and he is for the first time he comes to the local pub, and he gets into a fight, sort of, or like a more heated discussion of certain political matters that were taking place after the war with the locals. And as it goes, as it comes, they started playing cards afterwards.
but not
And
just any card.
like during the game, you can still hear them, bickering about what they talked about before.
But it's not just any card game. It's a specific Czech game, and I think Ondřej also have some behind the scenes stories about developing it. And actually,
Yes.
one chip, just like one last chip from me. All the cards are historically accurate. Their backs, their fronts. We actually had to talk to a collector who specializes in collecting playing cards from different eras, and those are actual cards that could be present or like were present on the pub tables in 1946. I think this is in the game's time.
5. Yeah.
No, this is 6. 5. This is just right.
Okay.
This is actually the day before the last
before the
election
election.
before communist coup d'état.
Of course. Yeah. So we wanted to show a game that people could play back then, and this is a typical Czech game, a little bit reminiscent of blackjack. It's also very simple, so we could implement it easily, and it wouldn't be too confusing for players. And we had a Czech cards collector and expert give us a whole lecture about contemporary cards in that era.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have an interview with him later.
And he let us scan actual cards from that time. So it was quite fascinating, even though it's quite a small part of the game. And of course, the whole point was that you would be sitting in a pub and you would get to hear about ordinary people's thoughts back then about what was basically on their minds. And we can see that like the scarcity of food was a big issue, and the organization which was state-run was also not ideal. And this is also, like I talked about here, you can play as long as you want or a very long time, but you can also, after a while, just say, okay, I don't want to play anymore. I want to continue with the game. So it's a little bit up to you how much you want to hear and how much you're having fun, basically.
I think we should, by the way, for a launch party, when there's a time for doing launch parties, we should totally make a tournament in the game. And actually,
Totally.
the Czech name for the game is called. Did you say how it's called?
No.
It's called Vokobere, which literally translates as "the eye takes all," which I actually don't know why it's called that.
It's when you get two X's. I mean, two aces.
Yeah, right. So it's like ace trumps all, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too good with those games. I mean, I play Magic, but there are no aces in Magic. Only
So you can see that they're talking about Hitler's death, and yeah.
I actually made a really good Magic pun, but yeah, doesn't matter. This is not about Magic.
And basically, they're talking about the weird space that Czechoslovakia was occupying between East and West, and several of the characters are trying to talk about going with the East and going some of them going with the West, what it contains, and also the information they had was very limited at the time. So you are playing as Volk, which I don't know if he mentioned that he came from Volnia. So he used to live in the region that's today's Ukraine, or part of today's Ukraine, and then he came back with Svoboda's army and the Red Army to basically liberate Czechoslovakia, and then he was then he was in this region, and so he actually witnessed some of the politics of USSR and Stalin, and he's trying to talk about that, but basically it's very hard to convince the locals because he's an outsider.
We passed
So
20 viewers mark. Hey guys, thank you so much for being with us. And as always, ask us anything in the chat. We're here for you. And we'll be for some more time. And also we're kind of running out of the content, not like running out of things to talk about, but like game-wise, because we don't want to spoil too much. And there's a demo that's part of LudoNarraCon. And also our previous game, Attentat 1942, is on sale, which I'm odd to remind you as a comms chief, so pardon the ad. But yeah, if you have any particular interests, questions or interests, or what you wanna see in the game, or what kind of things you want to see in the game, please drop us a comment or question, and we'll be more than happy to answer. Here in the chat or in the Discord or whatever. That's all.
Should I just keep playing, or should we go back to the menu?
I think, do we have what we could show? We could show one more comics, I think, because I think they're a big part of the experience, actually. And because they were made by our award-winning Czech artist.
And you will get a comic right after this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's... well, this is like just a small comic, though, but sure.
Yeah. This is basically
just
showing the very important election that happened just after the war, which gave a lot of power to the Communist Party, which later had the coup d'etat, which basically meant all power went to the Central Party.
Okay, actually, this is I don't know. It's partly funny and it's also not funny at all. But somebody in the chat, and thank you for that, he put the name Svoboda into the Google, I presume, and it went to a Wikipedia of a Nazi party at Ukraine, which is totally not something we're affiliated at all.
So maybe can you guess why, right? Because the word Svoboda means something in Czech.
Yeah, the Svoboda means freedom. So, and as you can probably tell from history, using freedom as a concept has been very like a lot of people has been using the concept of freedom for a lot of different ends. So yeah, just like remember liberation, I guess, Benedictus. But thank you. I mean, this is what didn't occur to me, but it's like a pretty usual Slavic word anyway. It's like it's also in Russian, where it also means freedom. So yeah, but like we are not affiliated with Nazis at all, even though, and this is probably how would you translate? This is a plot twist I would probably be regretting later, but we have Ukraine in the game actually, and we because one of the characters is Ukrainian Czech, and Ukrainian Czechs were a minority that were established in, I believe, 19th century in Ukraine, and then they were migrating after First World War and Second World War back into Czech Slovakia or Czech lands, and this brings us back to the personal importance of Svoboda 1945 to our team, and the first one in my column of my colleagues is Ondřej.
Yeah, those were Czechs actually. They were not Ukrainians. They were just offered the land.
Sorry, I know I probably phrased it wrongly. Yeah, please correct me. You have that descent actually.
So they were offered land in the region of today's Ukraine, but during the 20th century it went from being Polish to being to being Ukraine, to being like part of the Soviet Union. So it's very like for the people living there, it was like a huge whirlwind. And one of those people living there was my great grandfather, who was had a very similar fate to one of the characters in the game. So basically, he joined the Czechoslovak division with the Svoboda's army. With the
Svoboda was a general in.
Yes, coincidentally named as the same as the game.
Yeah, it's
and
a pretty
also,
common name in Czech.
And also became the Czech president later. But so he went with this army through Slovakia and arrived to Czech lands, where they were given a piece of land after the Germans were expelled, which they had to pay for a little bit, obviously after.
But it introduces like some sort of a tension, I guess, into the family history. But like this is actually a really great opportunity to jump into a part of Jan Vlk's story, because Jan Vlk is the guy you've seen at the beginning of the game, and if you came later, don't worry, we're gonna loop this stream until our tomorrow stream throughout the whole day. But we can go right into Dukla, which was actually this infamously famous operation of Czechoslovakian and Red Army with the assistance of Czechoslovakian soldiers, and actually it's very strangely and coincidental and amazingly coincidental that the fate of Jan Vlk, and this is his memory we're showing right now, is exactly the same, like almost exactly the same like your grandfather's.
It was the fate of a lot of the people that lived there, because they had very little joy to join like Stalin's Russia, and they were trying to go back, and they were later joined by their families, who had to arrive on trains that were kind of state sponsored from Volhynia to those Sudetenlands, or the borderlands of Czechoslovakia. So this is the infamous battle that was basically trying to liberate Slovakia, with the Red Army coming from the north to this Dukla Pass, which was heavily fortified, and the Germans, with some intelligence breaking, had basically known exactly what is happening. So they dug themselves very deeply into the hills and into the rock. So that was also, like, a lot of people talk about how it was terrible for the loss of life that happened there, and the kind of disregard for human life on the part of the Russian army. Okay. And obviously, you can read more about the battle in the encyclopedia as well.
Yeah, I don't think this is really like apparent in the stream, but obviously our game is full HD and 4K ready, and also there's a pretty complex sound design to all those comics, which you don't necessarily hear right now because of the quality of the stream, and also, yeah, just like internet stuff. So yeah, like look forward to it. It's there. And we don't take it lightly, the sound design part of the game.
All right.
Yeah,
that was
the end of the story. I think we're 56 minutes in, which is really fun. I can ask a lot of questions, like but like coming from me, it would seem like a cheap PR. So if you have any other questions, please, or like comments or stuff like that, leave it below. We will be looping this discussion for the rest of the day until tomorrow's stream, which will happen with our lead project officer, Lukáš. And we have a question. Great, we have a question. Please send all the questions our way. Who's gonna answer? I think I'm gonna put Andrea in the meantime on the big screen.
Great.
I'm sure you're happy. Okay, looks awesome. Thank you. What about the Svoboda? Sorry. What about after Svoboda? Any plans to continue further to 1968? Maybe.
I'm not the right person to be on the spot right now.
Okay, I'm switching to Ondřej.
Yeah.
But you, at least, we want to also present our team because we love you.
So there is some plans. We have some other game kind of in the works, but we're not yet sure if we're going to be able to finish it in the quality that we would like, basically.
It also depends on the success of Svoboda 1945. So go play the demo on Wishlist does now.
Yes, exactly. So if you want to see more games,
go to action.
But the focus of the next game would be basically the 50s and the communist repressions, and also a little bit normalization.
And 68.
And 68.
Which, for those who don't know, 68 was the occupation of Russia. No, not Russia. Sorry, there was
no.
It was
68 was Prague Spring, which was a period of kind of easing of the repressions, and then it was crushed by the Soviet, the armies of the Warsaw Pact, and it led to the subsequent normalization, which was like increased repressions from the state in all areas of life, especially cultural.
You're better at this. Seriously, you're better at this.
So we will. What I would like to do maybe later, and as kind of my dream, would be a game about the later parts of our history, maybe the Velvet Revolution of '89, and a little bit of the transformation of the country from the communist-led regime to a capitalist or free market economy, with all the hiccups and maybe some of the things that we're still dealing with because of this transformation. So I think that's something that's not been explored at all in games, and it would be amazing to do it, but it would require significant resources, which we just don't have at this point. Both in terms of money and in terms of historical research and
Yeah, so the wild 90s is a possibility, continues asking Petrol. Yeah, I think it is, but we still have a game about to be released in August, so let's see how that turns out. And yeah, I do think that I believe that our way of approaching history is bountiful and shows a perspective that hasn't been shown before much in the games and maybe not even other media. So doing 90s, which is, if you're not acquainted with that, those of you who are not from the former Soviet bloc, is an era that defined current state of politics to a super large extent, and it would be super interesting to do something about it. And I think I can do a little PR stuff, or not PR stuff, but I can do a little shout out for our engine. Because we also, for making Charles games for Attentat 1942 and also Svoboda 1945, we've developed this toolkit for Unity that is called Charles Engine. Actually, Ondřej developed it. But what I want to talk about is that we do hope that by showing that FMV games are a great way of telling stories, that we will untie hands of more people to try them and maybe work with their own memories and do their own little games about what they lived through in 90s, or what they lived through in 68, or what they lived through in 2021 pandemic. So we don't see ourselves just as a studio that makes its own games, but as a sort of a studio that also enables others to tell their own stories.
Yeah, don't let us steal your 90s idea. Do it yourself if you want to, and then share it.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
Yeah, we all want to see your stories in Charles Games Engine, obviously. Charles Engine FME, obviously. Okay, so what's up in the chat? There's nothing up in the chat. There still can be something up in the chat. Our all 23 viewers, which we are super grateful for. And yeah, I think we've played through a good portion of the game. Maybe we can just, I don't know. Do you have any nice, interesting save in the game? Like for those who came later, to just like show them a little bit of the gameplay again, because I'm sure that like people just come and go and they want to see part of our game.
We can show the beginning of Vulcan.
Yeah, let's go look S9. Oh no, we saw it already. Like what about?
Yeah. We can talk with Studnička or Krejcar. Krejcar, yeah.
S2A, I think. This is our debug menu. That's sorry for the crudeness.
Not in the full version, sorry.
Yeah, obviously it's coming out in August, not tomorrow. Yeah, I think we're doing a survey. I want to feel official.
Oh, that's what.
Oh. Stupid question, stupid answer.
But no,
sorry,
like family history. I mean, we should. He has empathy.
No tak pojďte dál.
Oof.
Yeah.
I don't know how other devs do this.
No tak povídejte, co vás
Have
zajímá.
empathy?
No, I hope other devs have empathy, but I mean,
so this is
replaying their own game with that, thrill of
I'm thrilled.
Not having seen that, not having been seeing that for 3 years.
So this is for those that maybe didn't see the previous part, this is like the core mechanic of the game. You visit people in the village and you ask them about the school, which you're trying to decide if it has a historical value, and you also discover some dark parts of your own family's history. And maybe I wouldn't maybe show more of Krejcar, so we don't spoil.
Yeah, we're right on the verge of spoiling, right?
Yeah, there is a lot to talk about.
Okay, but I think we can show one more comic that actually is in our trailer, so that's not a problem.
You can also show the full encyclopedia.
Yeah, okay.
I use a cheat code, which is very...
yeah, so if you feel like we are showing a game that is about some events you don't know nothing about, don't worry. When our game is accessible, and we actually have been doing it with a global audience in mind, and B, we have an encyclopedia with a lot of accessible information for you to dig through.
Yeah, and
we were
it's not...
talking a little bit about Volnia, so it's here as well.
We talked about that earlier.
Okay.
And this information is kind of sprinkled throughout your experience, so it's not thrown at you right away.
It's like we use the cheat to unlock everything, or like a debug cheat to unlock everything, but you obviously will like be getting it gradually, because the last thing we want to is to feel like a textbook, which we are definitely not. So yeah, I mean, 21 viewers. So guys, if you want to keep us going, and if you want to see more of the game and see perhaps interactive comics, we can show something more, or we can end and let the video loop until we are here tomorrow for another stream. But that's up to you, so please leave us a comment what you want to see, because you still have a few minutes before we go offline. So
I think they might be tired, or like not tired, but
I don't know. I don't know what time is specific time actually.
Well, when we saw the last comic, I kind of got overwhelmed. Because
right. Wow. Okay, that's cool.
This is the first time I see the game like while I'm not actively like trying to break it during testing.
Yeah, Andrea's our tester. I forgot.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of really difficult to like see this and like react to it, or even you said like, how do devs do it? I think we are in a special position.
Well, you are, because you're right. You mostly see it as a broken piece of like dev bricks, I guess, and we're
Of,
we're the one trying to build it together. And
all
then
that matters, all that matters is that in August 2021, it's not going to be broken anymore, and you can
that
play it.
too, we're very much. And the demo that is available during LudoNarraCon is not broken at all, and it's going to be available. We hope also on iPhones and iPads, because one thing that actually I know we're on Steam, sure, but after releasing Attentai 1942 on mobiles and tablets, I think like tablets and mobiles are especially great at playing enemy. I think we can, I don't know, we can end up with some like dev really behind the scenes stuff. Like, I don't know, do you have any funny memories of working on Svoboda 1945? Well, I can remember one for you, Ondřej, really.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, we bought you, what was it, a vegetable cake or like a vegetable gift basket with a lot of zucchini for your birthday you are having in the office. I can dig up the photo, but I don't think that would be. I mean, it is not bad, but we'll leave it for a launch party.
Okay. So you're all invited to our offices for a launch party whenever it's safe.
But like, you know, if a lot of you will wishlist the game, we can make like, and a lot of you, we can make a launch party in, I don't know, Brno or somewhere closer to Pacific Ocean. But I wouldn't bet on that.
It's one or the other.
Like
Pilsen?
Okay.
Yeah, maybe Pilsen. Like Pilsen would be a nice place though. Like the point of liberation of Czechoslovakia from Nazis by U.S. Army. Why not? So anyway, thanks for joining us. Thanks for all the people who came in. Thanks for all the questions that came in. I will check the Discord one last time, and there's nothing, which is not a shame because you obviously can ask us anything anytime you want. And we're going to be returning tomorrow with another stream, which will be more like business focused and how it feels like to be making serious historical games. As a way of living or keeping the studio afloat. But we have one more question. I'm sorry, we have one more question. So thanks for answering the last minute call. Papers in game. It's again by Benedictius Amadius. Papers in game, Czech or German language, not English. If I read it correctly, that probably the question is if the materials, the memorabilia in the game is translated into not the language they are like scanned in, and the answer is yes. They are translated. We have overlay translation for them all, so you won't miss out anything. This is something we kind of learned from Attentai 1942, where some of the materials, even though not many of them, but a little amount of them was actually kept in Czech, and people took it really well, I'd say. So nothing tragic, but it was something we decided to like really thoroughly work on. So everything will be in all the three languages. And yeah, I totally forgot to say that, but Svoboda 1945 Liberation will be available in Czech, obviously, in English, and also in German, because it's our shared history, and it only makes sense that we would like, you know, make it as accessible to our German. I wanted to say brothers and sisters, but that sounds probably too over the top, to German players in the most accessible way possible.
Yeah, you can see that some of the artifacts are just taken from those times and are not translated. So this is like a German poster. That's actually a real poster from those times, and it's not translated. Some of the Czech stuff is probably still there, also not translated, but we're trying to avoid it basically, because it puts people off when they can't understand something.
Yeah, it's a really good, and thanks for that. It's a really good note for us while working on the full game, and yeah, we do want to make it as accessible as possible in the end in August when it comes out. So unless there is one last minute call, thanks for everything, and yeah, thank you, Ondřej and Andrea.
Thank you too.
And it's actually, it's so funny. I didn't actually notice it before, or I didn't think about it before. But I'm Ondřej, you're Andrea, and all of our names come from the same root in Latin, which is Andreas. So, go figure.
Which means
It means
Svoboda?
brave, I think. It means brave and manly,
Brave.
which is not necessarily quality. I mean, the manly one I would associate with myself, but you have a guitar, so you're probably very brave, you know, being on stage, so I guess it works.
Alright.
Thank you
See
so
you.
much. Thank you so much. Play our demo, wishlist our game, leave us a feedback, and see you tomorrow or any next time we'll be there.
Hey, thanks.
Enjoy! Yeah, Morpheus
That's
says
a
hi and also says enjoy the rest of LudoNarraCon. And thanks
Enjoy.
to LudoNarraCon so much for having us. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.